We got baseball tonight on the Play Space, our Hall of Fame voting show. We're voting 5 players into our soon-to-be-released Cooperstown card set. Hello again, Keith Avalone from Play Games. Sam is producing tonight's show. Sorry we're a little bit late. We're trying to get the I's dotted and the T's crossed to try to make this work. It's going to be rather informal. We're using, there goes my laptop is going to want to wink out on me. I think I've got my pause set for like 1 minute or something, so hopefully I won't have to keep logging into it. I got my laptop over here, got my iPad over here to help me follow the chat, and the idea is we're going to have you be like the sports writers for the Hall of Fame voting. You'll be submitting your nominations, and then we'll have like a vote for it. Sam's dealing with my that should work. Okay, I see Charles Helms is here, John McGinnis, Ricky Berner, my fellow Saints fan, me and Ricky and Harvey Couch. Larry Marathew, good evening, Bear. Paul, hello. Yeah, I got my Guardian shirt on. Anyway, so if you're not familiar with our Cooperstown card set, or actually it's card sets, let me run it down for you really quickly. We started this, we actually originated it, I believe it was 2014, when we did our Kickstarter for the Decider Die. I created a set of Hall of Fame cards based on players that were in the Hall of Fame. I think it was about 150 cards in the set. And then a few years later, we reformed, actually many years later, I guess it's like 2019. What does it say on here? I think it was 2019. Yeah, 2019, we reformatted them to look like this. With some cool graphics that Sam had put together, and we added some more cards to it. The original Hall of Fame set did not have. There were a number of players that were not in it because I had a hard cap on how many cards I wanted to be in. So I didn't put all of the Hall of Famers in it, so we expanded it to include all the Hall of Famers, and then we added a second set. We really had to add a second set in order to get all the Hall of Famers in there. So we had the Legends was the first set. That's what we called the first set, the Legends. Then we had the Pioneers, which were players that went from like 1930-something back to the 1800s. And then I believe it was 2021, we added the Cooperstown Hopefuls, which was a third collection of players who were not in the Hall of Fame, but hope to be sometime. So that brought our total up to, I don't know, I guess about 300 cards, 350 cards. Then when we switched to our new print equipment, the files that we'd created, we had the Cooperstown cards outsourced to our local printer, and their equipment could handle the file that we created, but our equipment cannot. So we had to discontinue them last Christmas, and we've been intending to reformat them, and that's what we're working on this week, actually, is to reformat the cards. And while we were reformatting them, we figured let's go ahead and add some cards to it. So we're planning to reintroduce this set kind of in connection with our big event at Cooperstown in October, where we'll be doing like a tournament inside the Hall of Fame, actually playing the Cooperstown cards in Cooperstown inside the Hall of Fame. And my thought was, we have 24 people available for this tournament, 24 seats in this tournament. I wanted to be able to have enough for 24 teams. So 20 players per team seems like kind of a minimum. So we're looking at the expanded Cooperstown collection to have roughly 480 players in it. That's how we got to the point where we're at right now. So we've been working on that in the background, adding players. So we had the Legends card set count is currently at 138. There's 131 Pioneers. There are 124 Hopefuls. And if we'd like to have 480 players total, that leaves us about 100 players to add. So we've been working on that. We have 14 umpires in the set. We have the free download we offered a couple years ago, the Cooperstown Exiles, which included a set of 13 players who are not in the Hall of Fame and probably never will be, guys like Pete Rose and I guess A-Rod they're talking about maybe letting A-Rod in, but guys like Denny McLain, who for one reason or another are kind of banned from baseball. So but had great careers or had notable careers. I mentioned Pete Rose. So that's 12 cards that we're going to put in this collection. Then we have the rest of the set is cards that we're actually creating right now. It's about 75, 80 cards. We have a set of cards that I was going to call the Cooperstown Footnotes. That was a set that I was going to release a couple years ago, maybe a year and a half ago, which was like guys that weren't going to get in the Hall of Fame, except they did something special. Maybe they, like we got Joe Nuxhall, the youngest player ever to play in the major leagues. We got Eddie Geidel, the smallest guy. You got guys that hit a grand slam from both sides of the plate in the same inning. Guys like that who are noteworthy, and worthy of being in the Hall of Fame for their accomplishment or what they did, but their careers don't necessarily warrant it. So I came up with about 40 of those guys, and then so when you add in the umps, the exiles, and the footnotes, this still leaves us short about 30 players or so. So I have another 25 players who I consider, I'm calling them like long-timers or contributors. They're guys that are not going to go in the Hall of Fame because they didn't have stellar careers, but they had solid careers, really good careers, and they were very long. Guys like Jamie Moyer, the pitcher who pitched well into his 40s for the. I think he ended up with the Mariners. And I think he played for the Rockies. Played for a bunch of teams, and players like that, players that had played many, many years for many, many teams. So after all that, we're still 5 cards short for this set. So we thought we'd throw it open to the community and let you guys determine who the final 5 will be. That's the purpose of this show. Sorry that took so long to explain. What we thought we'd do is collect some candidates from you guys, and we need to have 12 nominees, and then we'll have a vote in using the YouTube poll feature to narrow it down to our final 5. So what we'll do is we're going to do it kind of like a reality show. We'll have 4 nominees, and then we'll have everybody vote on those 4, and the top guy gets in, and the bottom guy is eliminated. The other 2 stay in for the next round, and we'll bring 2 more guys in, and then you'll vote again amongst those 4. Again, we'll do that 5 times, and it will give us 5 guys, and we'll have our set complete. So, having said all that, are there any questions, anyone? I've got my list here of all the players that I have currently carded, and I have them in alphabetical order. There are almost 500 of them, but there are 5 open spaces. But I can double check anybody who you suggest and let you know whether I've actually already made a card for them. I thought we'd spend the first 10 minutes or so just kind of collecting names. I should probably write them down. I've got Give me a pencil or something so I can write them down. I see we're going down the list here. Let me back the chat up so I don't miss anybody. Okay, Shoeless Joe Jackson is in the Exiles. He's already got a card. Pat Vendette, he's the guy that pitched from both sides. That is a good one. Pat Vendette. Let me write that down. My chat's going pretty quick. Let's see. Rick Rushell. We're going to get way more than 12 nominees. Maybe people should include a short blurb about. Yeah, a lot of these guys. I know. Let me just quickly go. Sadahiro O is a great name to suggest. Jim Abbott. I see Brian Hoxie suggested Jim Abbott. He's already in the hopefuls. Kurt Schilling, I believe, is in the hopefuls as well. Let me just check. Yes, Kurt Schilling's already carded. Keith Hernandez is already in there. Dave Steeb. I don't think so. Dave Steeb. He's not in there. Who suggested Dave Steeb? Let me check my chat here. So why? I don't remember Dave Steeb as being particularly noteworthy, but maybe Cooper can elaborate. Keith Hernandez is in there. Jimmy Wynn, the toy cannon. It's one of my guys that's actually already in there. Billy Wagner. Let me check on Billy Wagner. Hang on. I think he might be in there. Billy Wagner's in there. Yes, he's in the hopefuls already. Bob Allison. Let me look at Bob Allison. See, there's so many of them I can't hardly remember. And I spent the last couple of weeks just going over names. Bobby Allison is not in there. I'm going to put his name down. But again, I believe he played for the Twins. I don't remember him being... Okay, Hernandez is already in. He's in the hopefuls already. I see Cooper's suggesting Hernandez. Mark Grace also already in. Let me just double check that. Yes, Mark Grace is in the hopefuls. Let's see. Wally Pipp. I know Wally Pipp is not in anybody's list here. Let's see here. Best pitcher of the '80s, Dave Stieb. All right, I'll write him down here. Aurelio Lopez. Yeah, I don't think I have him in here. Aurelio Lopez. Dave Parker definitely is already in as a hopeful. Fernando is already in as a hopeful, yes. Jim Cott, Tony Oliva, both are already taken care of. Mark Fidrich, and that's one of the guys I added Mark Fidrich myself because of his kind of one and done career. So he's already there. Bartolo Colon, another one. We've already added him. He's a great person to have in this collection. I didn't realize he weighed like 285 pounds. He's almost not quite the biggest guy ever, but yeah, he's already he will get a card. Bartolo Colon will get a card. Griffey Jr. already in there. Let's see, Julio Franco, I believe, is in there. Yes, he's in the hopefuls for Texas, 1991. Let's see. Lima Time. I do not know who Lima Time is. I've never heard that name before, so maybe I'm... Right, I think he's referring... That gets a nickname, maybe. Let's see. Lou Whitaker is already in there. Lee Smith is already in there. Kerry Wood. I vaguely remember Kerry Wood, at least considering him. No, Smokey Joe Wood is in there, but not Kerry Wood. I'll put him down. Jose Lima. No, he's definitely not in there. So what's Jose Lima's claim to fame? I'm not familiar. Let's see. Bobby Bowe. Jose Lima. Let me look up Jose Lima. That's what I got my computer here for. I don't have to ask. Let me just look. Let me go to Baseball Reference. Just bear with me here. All right. Baseball is not my first sport. Football is, so I'm sorry about that. 1994, 2000. Okay, yeah, All-Star. Okay, with the Astros. Yeah, I was thinking Jose Lima. I was thinking somebody older, but yeah, okay. 1994 to 2006, 13 years. Cy Young Award, 4th place in '99. Started 35 games in 1999. He was the most, led the league. I don't know.
Looks like he had a tragic death in 2010. I don't know if that's what's notable about
Maybe that is. So there are several guys that fall in that category. I don't see him. Usually they say born and died. It says he's born. It doesn't list them having died. We do have several people in that category that actually James Cass suggested. One of them was J.R. Richard. Lyman Bostock, who was tragically killed a couple years into his career. Who else? There was another guy, I think. There's Ron LaFleur. Nobody's mentioned Ron LaFleur. Came directly out of his prison cell to play big league baseball. In fact, he learned how to play. I mean, his first organized baseball was in prison, and he played. Really had a great career. What a great story he is. Okay, I'm looking at some more of these. Ben Sheets, Eric Davis. Ron Guidry is on the list. I don't know about Eric. I'll put Eric Davis down. I mean, really, when it comes right down to it, there's a zillion guys who we could give cards to. John Heart Attack Hiller. I think, let me just check and make sure that he's not already in there. Let's see here. No, he is not. John Hiller is not in here. I'll put him on the list here.
How are we at on the list at this point?
Right now, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Mike Marshall, the reliever. Tragic deaths. Yeah, Jose Fernandez. Yes, that. Yeah, we can almost have a subset on on baseball tragedies. Troy Percival. Dave Jackson, thank you for writing all these down. I'm going to email you, Dave, after this, and we'll and you can give me all the players. Bo Diaz. Oh, Jose Oquendo, that's right. Played 8 defensive positions in one game. Harvey brings it up. I believe Bert Campaneris, though, was the first person to do that. But that is noteworthy. I'm going to write Jose Oquendo down. That would be a good footnote. Wish I wrote better. Excuse me. Dwight Evans is already in, John. John McGinnis suggested Dwight Evans. Chapman's death led to the change in the ball, which led to, I think I've got the guy. This is scrolling too fast. The change that led to the Ruth in the power area. I believe I've got the guy who threw the pitch, but not the guy who was hit. Wilbur Wood. Yeah, he was pretty noteworthy. I think he was the last. I mean, he might actually be in here. Let me check. Because he was the last guy to win and lose 20 games, I believe. No, he's not in here. I'll put Wilbur Wood down. The knuckleballer. Deion Sanders. Yes, Deion Sanders could go in this. There are we do have Bo Jackson already. I'll put Deion Sanders down.
You see the Joel Youngblood?
Joel Youngblood. I believe I do have Joel Youngblood. Played for the he's the guy that played he played for 2 teams in one day. He was traded from the Mets to the Expos, or the other way around. I think it was the Mets to the Expos, and he played for both teams the same. The only player in the big leagues ever to do that. That's a great one, but he is in the set. He's a footnote. Burley Grimes. I want to say he's in there. Yes, he is. He's in there. Joe Sambito. Tom Selleck. Joe Sambito. I don't know, but let me see Joe Sambito. It's a great name. I'm trying to remember what he did. Didn't he play for the Astros? So he only played 9 years. Yeah, he did play for the Astros. Almost his entire career. Yeah. I don't see anything really remarkable about him, except, he's like a lot of guys. Let me throw a couple names out here, though. So we could have again, partially thanks to James Casper's coming up with some of these. There, we could have like a home run, guys that hit home runs who are not in the Hall of Fame or on any of our lists. We got Jose Canseco is the leader with 462, Adam Dunn, Dave Kingman, and then, of course, Sadahiro O. We could have a vote between those 4, see which one of those gets a card. That might be fun. I think I mentioned it. What about a guy like Paul Konerko? He feels like he should get a card. 6-time All-Star, and an all-around great guy. He's got a statue in the ballpark. So I think Paul Konerko's a good call too. Dave Kingman, yeah. So yeah, we got a bunch of names here.
12?
Oh, we got more than 12. Here's what we got. I'm gonna just have to make an executive decision here. Here's another one. Dan Quisenberry, the submariner. Nobody pitched like him ever, and he was a pretty effective pitcher from the 80s. Not only was he weird, to watch, but he was also very good. Yeah, Kirby Puckett is already in there. All right, I think we've gone 10 minutes, right? Let's see what we've got here. Pat Venditti, the guy that through both ways. Yeah, you wonder if anybody else is ever going to. I mean, that could become common. So I'm not sure I'm ready to quite ready to put him in yet. Rick Russell, Bob Allison, Wally Pipp, Dave Stieb, Aurelio Lopez, Jose Lima, Eric Davis, John Hiller, Jose Oquendo, Wilbur Wood, Deion Sanders, Dan Quisenberry, J.R. Richard, Ron LaFleur, Lyman Bostock, Jerry Kuzman was another one that James suggested. What about Manny Ramirez with the Exiles? I mean, I think that would be a cool addition. Would anybody want to play him on their team though? I don't know. All right. Let's just start our poll.
All right. So, do you want to?
I see Kent DeColvey. Yeah, let's do it. We're going to cut it off now. Although Kent DeColvey, I'm going to add Kent DeColvey because he was also a good submariner. All right, so let me count how many names we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We'll skip Paul Konerko. I saw Dave Kingman, 17, 18. All right, that's 18. So we need 12. Or we could do like an extra round.
18.
Oh, that's right. We're trying to do the math in our head here. Well, I'll try to get down to 12. Who can I eliminate? I'm going to.
We could do 2 rounds with 18 because we could go.
We're trying to figure out the math here.
Get everybody eliminated and then circle back to the guys that got picked, and then do another round with just them.
All right.
Or do you want to limit it to 12?
Oh, let's limit it to 12. We can always add more players later. This is just the 5 that we're going to add to this set. So I'm going to just make an executive decision. I'm going to scratch Pat Venditti. I'm going to scratch Bobby Allison. I'm going to leave Dave Stieb. I'm going to go Rick Russell. Aurelio Lopez, I'm knocking out. Jose Lima, I'll leave in. Eric Davis, I'm going to knock him out of there. Hiller, I'm going to leave in. Oquendo, I'm going to leave in because of his 8 defensive positions. Wilbur Woods on the bubble. Deion Sanders, I don't think he had much of a baseball career, but I'll leave him. I'm going to maybe leave him in there. Kent DeColvey, Quisenberry for sure, Richard, LaFleur, and Kingman. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's 12 right there. Okay, so let's do our first 4 then. So here's the way it's going to work. We can only do 4 in a group. So we're going to list 4, and then everybody's going to vote. And then we'll do 5 polls of 4. All right, so our first 4 are going to be.
Well, read off all the names to me first before we do the polls, so that I can have a.
Sam's asking me to read out all the names. All right, here we go. You might misspell these. You want me to spell them correctly or what?
I'll let you know if I need help.
Okay, Rick Russell. That's Reuschel.
Okay.
Wally Pipp, Pipp.
Okay.
Dave Stieb. I'm just going in order here. Dave Stieb, Stib, and Jose Lima, Stieb, Stieb. So that is 1, 2, 3, and then Jose Lima is the 4th for the first group. All right, and you guys can start voting on that. And you're going to put another poll up, right? Is that how you're going to do it, or what?
No, we're going to wait.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so we're going to wait until this one finishes. We'll give it like a minute or two. Vote for those 4. Just vote for one, right?
Yeah, you vote for one.
Vote for one. Vote for the guy you think is that you would like to see carded in the set, and we will take the top guy. The top vote getter will get in. The bottom vote getter gets knocked out. The other 2 move to the next round. That's how this is going to work. All right. So it's Rick Russell, Wally Pipp, Dave Stieb, or Jose Lima. No, some people are writing it in there. That's not what they're supposed to do, right?
No, there's a poll right here. So vote on that.
Right. So don't vote in the chat. Vote on the poll. There's a poll that's attached to the stream. Don't put it in the stream. It won't count if you put it in the chat. I see a number of people voting for Steve, but please, Noble and Chris, vote in the poll. Paul, come on, man. Vote in the poll, don't vote in the chat. You guys are killing me. Now I know you're doing it on purpose. All right.
All right, it looks like Dave Steve is definitely going to be the one that gets in, and Jose Lima is the one that gets out.
Okay, Jose Lima's out. Dave Steeb is in. So next poll is going to be Dave Steeb.
Now
I'm sorry, Wally Pipp, Rick Russell, Wally Pipp. Go ahead and put those in there.
Okay.
And then John Hiller.
1 second.
Hiller. And, well, let me know when you're ready. So Dave Steeb is in, everybody.
Okay, Rick Russell, Wally Pipp.
John Hiller. And Jose Oquendo.
Spell that?
Oquendo. I'm going to look up his stats while people vote. So there, go ahead and, again, don't vote in the chat box. Vote in the poll that we just put up. I see there's 5 votes in, 7 votes. The votes are coming in. Very good. So Jose Oquendo, looks like he played 12 seasons. My screen just got really big. He played 163 games, led the league in 1989. Did not lead the league anywhere else, so he just was kind of a jack of all trades. Looks like career batting average of 256. Jose Oquendo played almost exclusively for the Cardinals. Started his career with the Mets. Wally Pipp. Let me look up Wally Pipp really quickly.
Okay, I think we got all the votes we're going to get.
Yeah, all right.
It's close between Jose Oquendo and Wally Pipp. Jose's got 15, Wally has 18%.
So it looks like Wally Pipp will get beat.
No, Rick Russell's the winner.
Oh, Rick Russell's.
He has 38%.
All right, so Rick Russell.
Looks like Jose Oquendo gets eliminated.
Oh, well, we do have Bert Campaneris who did that same thing in the, I believe it was in the 1960s. Played all the positions, every position in the game in a 9-inning game. All right, so let's go to our next poll. It's going to be, so Wally Pipp stays in.
Yep.
John Hiller stays in. And we will add Wilbur Wood and Kent Tekulve.
Kent, how do you spell that?
Kent Tekulve, Tekulve. All right, so it's going to be, I'm waiting for the poll to pop up. There it is. Wally Pipp, John Hiller, Wilbur Wood, Kent Tekulve. I know Wilbur Wood pitched a long time. I'm going to look him up real quick. He was a knuckleballer, so he could pitch. You know, he pitched many games. I think he, like I said, he was the last player to win and lose 20 games in the same year. That was 1973. Pitched a lot of innings, 2,600 innings over 17 years. Did have a winning record, 164, 156. He was about all the White Sox had for many years. And then Kent Tekulve, another submariner, pitched 15 years, wore glasses, which is cool. I forgot about that. Yeah, he was a league leader for a number of years in games pitched, made a lot of appearances.
All right, that's it for the votes. So Kent Tekulve makes it in.
All right, Kent Tekulve is in. So, and who gets out?
Wally Pipp.
Wally Pipp is out. All right, so that leaves John Hiller and Wilbur Wood. And we will add Dan Quisenberry and J.R. Richard.
John Hiller, Wilbur Wood, Dan Quisenberry.
Yes. Quisen and then Berry.
And who's the other one?
And J.R. Richard. Richard. I always said J.R. Richard, but I forget. It's been so long now. I forget how it actually was pronounced.
Richard.
Yep. So J.R. Richard was in the news for many years because he just had such hard luck after he was in the prime of his career, collapsed in the field, had a stroke basically, tried to come back a couple years later, but just didn't have it, and then made some bad investments and wound up living on the street, and he passed away. I don't know if it was recently. But so it's kind of a tragic story. Was an amazing pitcher though before his stroke, and then Dan Quisenberry, of course, was the big submariner. He had really an impressive career. I'm kind of surprised that he really hasn't been talked much about the Hall of Fame because he really did have a pretty impressive career. And then Wilbur Wood and John Hill Rover already talked about.
Looks like Dan Quisenberry is in.
Dan Quisenberry makes it in. All right. So J.R. Richard and Wilbur Wood will stay in. So Wilbur Wood, J.R. Richard, and we will add. Let's see. We're going to add. Is this how many have we done here? We got Ron LaFleur, and we've got looks like Adam Dunn, I believe, and then we have 2 left. Yes. Well, yeah. So we got J.R. Richard, Wilbur Wood, Ron LaFleur.
Ron LaFleur, can you spell that?
Leflore.
Okay.
And it looks like it will be. I have Adam Dunn checked, but I believe I was actually aiming for. Let's put Dave Kingman in there. So Wilbur Wood, J.R. Richard, Ron LaFleur, Dave Kingman. There's your poll. You may vote now. Dave Kingman was, the archetype, home run hitter of his day. I remember him well. I think he hit 48 one year. And we were briefly touched on Ron LaFleur's story, which was pretty heartwarming. He had some pretty productive years for the Tigers. And then we'll have one more. Oh, wait, no, this will be our 5th, won't it?
Yeah, that is 5.
That is 5. Well, we may sneak in one more. We can probably do one more vote.
Okay.
I've got a couple guys in that I carded that I might be able to pull out. We'll do one more vote. So what's our polling look?
So, J.R. Richard is in. Wilbur Wood is out.
All right. All right. So our last will be this group: Ron LaFleur, Dave Kingman, Sadahuro O, and it's either Jose Canseco or Adam Dunn. Let's go with Adam Dunn.
How do you spell Sadahuro O's name?
It's Sadaharu, and then his last name is just O-H. So Ron LaFleur, Dave Kingman, Sadahuru O. And I guess we're going to do Adam Dunn.
Yep, that's what I got.
All right. Please begin your voting. Adam Dunn played mainly for the Reds. In kind of a time, the 2001 to 2014. Hit a ton of home runs. Was in the conversation for MVP voting. Rookie of the Year, 4th place Rookie of the Year in 2001. Had a ton of strikeouts. He struck out 222 times in 2012 with the White Sox. That's pretty amazing. But 6'6", 285, a big guy. Adam Dunn. Sadaharu, everybody knows that. He hit 800 and, how many was it? 868 career home runs in Japan. I think the most remarkable thing, I mean, the fact that he hit 868 home runs is amazing, but he played his entire career with the same team. That's of course, it was a different era back then, but he was the big man. He's making it in?
Yep.
Yeah, all right. Sadaharu will make it in. So we're going to add Rick Russell, Dave Stieb, Kent DeCulvey, J.R. Richard, and so 5 pitchers and 1 batter, Sadaharu. It was a night for the pitchers. And right. Well, he's a pitcher though.
Okay.
So they're all pitchers except for Sadaharu. Yeah, so Rick Russell, Dave Stieb, Kent DeCulvey, Dan Quisenberry, J.R. Richard, and Sadaharu. Okay. That was fun. We will this probably won't be the final Cooperstown cards we make, but that will be the last of the set for this event that we're doing in Cooperstown. It's going to be really fun. So we're going to divide it into 20 teams. I'm sorry, 24 teams. We're expecting 24 people to play in this at the Hall of Fame. And what we're going to do is we're going to divide the set up into 24 equal teams. And each team's going to get, as best we could distribute them, each team will get an exile. Each team will get a couple of footnotes. Each team will get some hopefuls and some, you'll get a nice mix of all these different players, and it'll be really a field of dreams kind of deal, which should be pretty neat. I mean, we've carded Joe Nuxhall, for example. I was talking with Sam about this on our walk today. So Joe Nuxhall was 15 years old when he took the mound against, for the Reds. I think he was pitching against the Cardinals, and they were losing 13-0. And so they figured, let's put the kid in. And you can imagine he's a 15-year-old kid facing, Stan Musial, and he didn't do well, but he persevered, and like 7 years later, he made it back to the Reds and was actually a very productive pitcher for them, and then was their play-by-play guy, radio guy for many, many years as well. So I've carded him as a 15-year-old. So I can just see somebody in our tournament where, they're getting killed 12-0. Let's bring in the kid, a 15-year-old kid, and put him on the mound. I think really kind of recreate the whole, some of the magic of baseball. There's lots of stories that are like that. Yes, I carded Michael Jordan, even though he didn't play. He did spring training with the White Sox. He'd never actually played for the White Sox, but I gave Michael Jordan a card because Michael Jordan. In fact, Sam didn't even know that Michael Jordan played baseball. It's one of those forgotten footnotes of baseball history. So he gets a card, and hopefully somebody will put him on, let him do a plate appearance in our tournament. So anyway, that's what we plan to do with all these different cards. We're going to mix them up and create 24 equal teams, and then everybody's going to draw one at random, and then the fun will begin. That'll be October 14th in Cooperstown. We still have 2 seats available for that. So let me know. I sent out emails to those who are signed up, those who are thinking about it. We do have 2 seats available for that. So let me know if you want to come. Next week, we're going to have our annual Football America Training Camp preview show where we'll go through each team in Football America, the 2023 season. Got, the NFL training camps are going full steam. So we're going to do the same with Football America, let you know which teams are on the upswing, which teams are maybe a little iffy for 2023. We'll talk about the top rookies, the free agent movement, and give you just a quick tour of what's happening in Football America for 2023. That'll be next Thursday night, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Play Games YouTube channel. Till then, have a great weekend. Appreciate you watching. Be sure to hit the like button on your way out so we can get those YouTube likes. And we do appreciate you watching the show tonight. And we'll see you next week, right here on the Play Space. Thank you.